Las Ceann Corla. Minister, last Friday night, a cohort of 1,100 customers of a waste collection company based in Cork, a company by the name of Country Clean, who provide waste services in both Cork City and in Cork County, sent a text to the 1,100 customers. The text indicated that as of Monday, that's Monday gone, there would be an increase in the charge for the pay per lift. The pay per lift for general waste was to increase from €8 per lift to €12 per lift, and for recyclable waste was to increase from €4 per lift to €7 per lift. Customers were also asked to increase the amount of money that they had in their accounts on standby for payment from €20 to €22. Now, Minister Coveney came into the House only a matter of weeks ago and said that he had an agreement, it was dubbed in the House a gentleman's agreement, with the Irish Waste Management Association, the representative organisation for the waste collection companies. And he gave a guarantee to the House and to the customers that there would be no price hikes for 12 months. I put it to you that this is a clear breach. Not only is it a price hike, it's a price hike of in the region of 50%. And I'm asking for action. Now, Country Clean have gone to ground. They're not taking phone calls from radio stations or anything like this. So I'm asking for action from the government. The Minister said in June that if the companies acted in this way, that legislation would be brought in to enforce a price cap in the event of breaches of this kind. So my question is, what action do you intend to take to stop this from happening to these 1,100 customers?
Thank you, Deputy Joan Collins. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Minister. As has been said, the Irish Waste Management Association agreed with the Minister recently that they would implement that price freeze that's been spoken about. And as I said on Thursday in leaders' questions to the Taoiseach, that there was a collective sigh of relief across the country, much was the anger and anxiety by people. Greyhound have done the exact same thing. They have said to people, you can opt out of a pay by weight, and if you don't, you can go into another deal where you have to pay €140 up front. And I made the case of a particular woman in my area who had paid $59.95 for a year's contract with Greyhound in January of this year to the end of December, and now she's been told she has to pay €140 to go back into that contract from the 1st of August to July next year. That is a massive increase. So really what these companies are doing, they are holding this government and their customers, and in Greyhound's case their workers, with absolute contempt in relation to this so-called gentleman's agreement. And I would really want to know, the Taoiseach said last Thursday that the Minister was monitoring it, he was watching it, he was keeping his eye on it, and if necessary he would bring in the legislation to enforce the companies to implement this price freeze. They are continuing to do it. We have Country Clean, another company following suit now, where they're increasing their black bin from €8 to €12 and their green bin from €4 to €7. Their green bin, the polluter pays principle, and they're hiking up by that amount. So I think these companies are just ignoring the agreement, and I think the Minister has to be really, not ruthless, but forthright in coming forward now and doing something about this. And what is he going to do?
Minister, you have 4 minutes to respond.
As we hear again, apologies that Minister Coveney isn't here himself to take the debate. He was hoping to be back in time to take it. It is right to say that earlier this month, Minister Coveney did secure an agreement with all major waste collection companies to freeze charges so that customers pay no more than they're currently paying for waste collection over the next 12 months for the same level of service. While the majority of those in the industry have clearly honoured the agreement, there appear to be some instances of divergence from the terms, or if not the terms, certainly the spirit of what was agreed. I am and we are therefore disappointed and unhappy that if it is true that a waste collector side with the deputies is requiring existing customers to pay an increased charge for the same level of service, contrary to the industry-wide agreement that was negotiated in good faith. Our department has been in touch with the companies. One company in question, Country Clean, have explained or have explained and answered our queries with them that the price and charge only relates to some of their customers and is due to the discontinuing of waivers for a small percentage of pay by lift customers which they purchased from Cork County and Cork City Councils in 2011. Country Clean have continued the waiver up to this point but are now intending to remove it. They also state that it is open to those customers to move to the flat fee pricing plan offered by the company. While regular presenters of waste, i.e. those that present both a residual black bin and green bin every fortnight, would see no increase in charges under this change, it could result in increased fees for lighter producers of waste. We consider that to be unacceptable. People should not be punished for displaying good management practices by producing less waste. Furthermore, I also do not believe this approach is consistent with the spirit of the agreement reached with the industry last month. Minister Coveney has asked our officials to follow up directly with the company and to ensure that they understand his expectations in this regard and also the implications of what they plan to do. The approach being taken by the different waste companies is being closely monitored. In this regard, again, Minister Coveney has mandated officials from our department to meet representatives of the waste industry earlier this month, where issues concerning the consistent implementation of the agreement were raised. It was made clear to the representatives from the waste industry that if a fair and reasonable approach was not being delivered, we would be forced to take further steps to ensure the agreement is honoured. The Minister has also been clear that if there was evidence of the agreement being breached, he would look at further legislative measures where necessary to enforce it. Furthermore, the compliance of the industry and its effectiveness in cooperating and implementing these new arrangements are likely to feature within the overall review of the functioning of this waste collection industry and influence consideration of the need for a regulator to ensure that we have absolute clarity in terms of predictive behaviour, charging systems and parameters within which the providers operate. I would like to thank the deputies for raising this issue this evening. We have publicly expressed our dissatisfaction before with how certain companies are operating in a manner that is not in keeping with the spirit of the agreement reached with the industry in June. Under the agreement, customers should not pay for their waste collection until should not pay more for their waste collection until July next year, when then they are currently paying for the same level of service. And that was a very clear agreement. Minister Coveney did outline to the House here, did take questions on it, but was very clear in what it should result in. The operation of the price freeze by industry is, again, I'll clarify, being closely monitored by the Department. Officials have held 3 meetings with representatives of the waste industry since the 1st of July and are in regular contact around this and the issues arising. So we will continue to liaise with operators as necessary with regard to the consistent implementation of the agreement. We also want to reiterate that at those meetings it was made very clear to the industry that if they were not taking a fair and reasonable approach, we would be forced to take further steps to ensure the agreement is honoured. In this regard, we will ask officials to meet with Country Clean and again Greyhound if necessary to investigate this matter further and to seek early resolution.
Thank you. Minister. Deputy Barry, you have 1 minute.
Yes, I welcome the response from the Minister. In particular, I welcome those parts of the statement which read as follows. I consider that unacceptable. I do not believe that this approach is consistent with the spirit of the agreement reached with the industry last month. And last but not least, the section which says that I will ask my officials to meet with Country Clean, if necessary, to investigate this matter further and to seek early resolution. I welcome those statements. The point is this, though. The weather out there is very hot. And people are concerned about what the hell is going to happen if their bins are not collected this week. In other words, people can't wait weeks and weeks for this to be resolved. So I'm asking for a commitment that if Country Clean are not brought to heel more or less immediately within a day or two in relation to this, that we will move quickly on the issue of legislation to cap the prices and to, by law, forbid this from taking place.
Thank you. Deputy Collins.
I'd follow that because I think, Minister, we've been raising this for the last couple of weeks. It's been raised under order of business here on a number of occasions, and we keep getting told it's been monitored, it's been watched, it's been processed, we're meeting them. And Greyhound are going to implement this on the 1st of August. That's only about 14 days away, and everybody's got a letter in relation to it. So I think, Minister, you have to move quicker on this because they're continuing to do it. They are breaking that agreement that you made with them. and there has to be something done about it. Now, I put a question to the Minister a couple of weeks ago in relation to having an investigation into the companies, and he said that the waste collection is a statutory responsibility of local authorities under Section 33 of the Waste Management Act 1996. There is a general duty on local authority to either collect the household waste as a functional area, or alternatively to arrange for its collection by third parties. I think we have to look at that and bring in a statutory instrument in relation to that, that if a company is in breach, that they should be, the collection should be taken from them, and either the local authority take over it or be given to the company who is going to apply by the rules.
Minister.
Again, to thank the deputies, and I know at this stage it's frustrating. I'm quite conscious that just in July or August is getting very close, but I think Minister Coveney is very clear on this. He expects the deal to be honoured. That's the bottom line. He's made it very clear in all negotiations. Our officials have been out, and they expect it to be honoured. And he's made it very clear that there's consequence if it's not. And that's where it's at. There's been further investigations this week, and we'll have to see what happens at the end of the week. And I'm conscious that you're saying about corrections in the next few days and so on. Hopefully we might have an update towards the end of the week, and I'll liaise back with the two of you on that issue as well. But I think he was very, very clear on this, and has made it very clear to the representatives, to the companies, to everybody, that he expects the deal reached to be agreed and to be honoured. It's as simple as that.
Louise.